Most important thing in every state is Caitlin Clark, at least in Midwest states, at least in the great state of Indiana. And this hit me yesterday. Wow. It hit a lot of people yesterday. The head coach of the Indiana Fever, Christie Sides, gone. She gone.
Indiana Fever is having one of the most exciting winters in WNBA history. Only days later, the Indiana Fever sprung a surprise on coach Christie Sides. Christie Sides, or should we say the previous coach, they appear to have already hired their new coach, as she was abruptly sacked from her current post. Coincidence? We'll fill you in. The organization said on Sunday that Sides had been relieved of her responsibilities after 2 seasons in command. Indiana suffered a first-round defeat against the Connecticut Sun. The team had a 20-20 record in 2024.
I'm going to the chin on this one. If, in fact, we do the same with the WNBA that we do with the NBA, must we discuss Caitlin Clark's influence on this? Must we? See, LeBron James gets a coach fired, and you know what happens. Everybody blames LeBron James, whether or not it was LeBron James. I don't know. But we all immediately go there. Everybody will tell you Michael Jordan got Doug Collins fired, Magic Johnson got Paul Westhead fired. You know, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, I don't know how many different coaches have been in how many different places. But the truth of the matter is, we must ask the same question. So did the little gal from Iowa get the coach fired?
The Fever said this after the surprise decision. We are incredibly thankful to Coach Sides for embracing the challenge of leading us through an integral transition period over the last 2 seasons, while also positioning us well for future growth, said Fever President of Basketball Operations Kelly Krauskopf. While such decisions are never easy, it is critical that we stay bold and forceful in our pursuit of our objectives, which include maximizing our potential and bringing another WNBA title back to Indiana. Coach Sides was an outstanding ambassador of the Fever and our community, and we wish her much success in the future.
And she responded on Twitter in a way that she's not wrong. She's not wrong. She tweeted, "Leave it better than you found it." And as far as the on-the-court play, like, she had maybe she was so bad. Actually, I'm not gonna say it. It's like she got Aaliyah Boston in her first season, and then they didn't win enough games because they were so bad the year before. They didn't win enough games though to get out of that number 1 best odds, and they got Caitlin Clark. So the reality is like, record-wise, you got Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Like, obviously, it's going to be in a better way. But I will say, at the Fever, what she did do is, as far as like the morale of the team, as far as just a lot of little things, I thought she did an all-right job. I thought she did the job to the best of her ability. I think she.
But that isn't all. At the same time, at another team, the coaches send away as well. Funnily enough, just the coach the Fever were looking for, according to reports. The Connecticut Sun parted ways with head coach Stephanie White on Monday, just 2 days after the Indiana Fever sacked Christie Sides. With Indianapolis seeking for a new coach, supporters believe White will be hired. There have previously been indications that she is the Fever's top option, and the Sun's action on Monday very well confirms it. In fact, White was linked to the Fever long before Sides was released. I mean, that makes sense. She grew up in Indiana, attended Purdue University, and spent the most of her WNBA career with the team. White again coached them in 2015 and 2016, helping Indy reach the WNBA Finals in 2015. White guided the Suns to an outstanding 28-12 record in the 2024 regular season. They also defeated Caitlin Clark and her teammates in the opening round of the playoffs before falling in the conference semifinals to the Minnesota Lynx. White had a 55-25 record in 2 seasons at Connecticut. Before that, she was Vanderbilt's head coach for 5 years. White has extensive expertise and might be the ideal coach for the Fever to assist develop players such as Clark and Aaliyah Boston, the last 2 rookies of the year. Clark struggled early in the 24 campaign, and White addressed it, stating unequivocally that she had no qualms about the former Iowa standout's ability to acclimatize to the pro level. When I'm looking at all these things that people are talking about with Caitlin Clark, it's like, guys, chill out, White told the crowd. She'll be fine. Are you kidding me? It's already 2 games in. She's a game student who has improved year after year. You won't be able to grasp all of the new knowledge that's arriving to you in 2 games or 2 weeks. It takes time, and she will. I have no doubt about that. Soon, it appears like White will be the next Fever coach. If not, there are some others available as well. These are the Fever's possible new coaches.
But I was surprised. A lot of interest in this job, as you can well imagine. If I'm the Indiana Fever, I got to think about 2 people. Stephanie White is somebody that played and is a legend in the great state of Indiana. And then the great Curt Miller, who has coached teams left and right, part of the Olympic team. A great coach, just let go in Los Angeles. He's been in Indiana, was a head coach of the Hoosiers for a little bit.
The coaching position with the Fever will undoubtedly be the most appealing job vacancy in the league this summer, and it is one of the greatest in recent memory. The Fever have a strong, youthful core of quality players and a devoted fan base. Clark is already a superstar after only 1 season, when she made the All-WNBA first team. The Fever may go in a variety of directions with their coaching search, but here are several top contenders that would keep the franchise on pace. Stephanie White. Stephanie White, the Connecticut Sun's current coach, is the most apparent candidate here. White has a long history with Indiana basketball. She attended high school in the state, played college basketball at Purdue, where she was named National Player of the Year, and spent 4 seasons with the Fever after being picked in Indiana's expansion draft. White has also spent a significant amount of time with the Fever crew. She was an assistant with the Fever from 2011 to 2014 and was a member of the WNBA championship winning squad in 2012. White also served as the Fever's head coach in 2015 and 2016, the last time Indiana made the playoffs before this season. White has built up her coaching credentials with the Sun in recent years, and she has been able to maintain the franchise's success under Curt Miller, even winning the WNBA Coach of the Year title in 2023. White's career record as a head coach is 92-56, including 55-25 in the last 2 seasons in Connecticut. She also made it to the WNBA Finals as a head coach with the Fever in 2015, losing in 5 games to the Minnesota Lynx. The Fever had an exceptional offense down the stretch of the season, and it appears like any club with Clark leading the way will be able to score whenever it wants. Over the previous 2 seasons, White has established herself as one of the greatest defensive coaches in the WNBA. Thus, she may be the ideal coach to address the Fever's biggest issue from last season. Overall, White should be the top contender for the position due to her links to the state and the organization, as well as her smooth integration into the team's demands. Curt Miller. If the Fever want a more experienced coach, they may seek to Curt Miller, who previously coached the Los Angeles Sparks. Miller and the Sparks parted ways soon after the 2024 season concluded. Miller's 2-year career with the Sparks was unsuccessful, although it was largely plagued by injuries and a rebuilding group that was not yet ready to contend. Miller's experience with the Sun demonstrates what he can achieve with a competitive squad and personnel. He played 140-86 in 7 seasons with the Sun, making several deep playoff runs and making it to the WNBA Finals in 2022. He also guided the Sun to a number of strong defenses during his tenure, so there's a potential he can develop a similar philosophy in Indiana. Miller also has links to Indiana, which may entice him to return there. He coached the Indiana University women's basketball team from 2012 to 2014. However, they did not make it to the NCAA tournament. Miller has received several WNBA coaching awards. He earned the league's Coach of the Year title twice, in 2017 and 2021, and was also awarded Executive of the Year in 2017. That expertise can benefit the Fever with player personnel as they continue to build a core around Clark and Aaliyah Boston. It's unknown whether Miller wants to immediately return to coaching after leaving Los Angeles, but if the Fever lose out on White and want to bring in an experienced senior coach with playoff experience to oversee a young, talented club, Miller may be the appropriate choice. Cheryl Miller. If the Fever wish to go beyond the ranks of current WNBA coaches, they can look to a game legend. If Cheryl Miller wants to return to the sidelines, this may be the place for her. Miller was one of the first WNBA coaches when the league debuted in 1997, and she coached the Phoenix Mercury for 4 seasons from 1997 to 2000 while also acting as general manager. She recently coached lower-level collegiate basketball at Langston University from 2014 to 2015 and Cal State Los Angeles from 2016 to 2019. Miller's achievements as a player are practically unrivaled, despite the fact that she competed before the WNBA existed. She earned the NCAA's Naismith Player of the Year award 3 times and 2 national championships at USC in 1983 and 1984. Miller has some experience working with Clark, despite the fact that she is not a full-time coach. She coached squad WNBA in the 2024 All-Star Game, which saw Clark lead the squad to an upset victory over Team USA. There hasn't been any indication that Miller intends to resume coaching, other than the fact that she accepted the post as an all-star coach, which is obviously different than guiding a team full-time. However, if she does decide to return, the Fever would be a great home for one of basketball's most iconic players. Who will end up being the new Fever coach? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.